Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to highlight some of the historic low price Steam game deals as a part of the summer sale. Now, all of the deals in this video are gonna be on the more expensive games. So you're talking about deals over $10. You know, a lot of these over $20, some over $30. So keep that in mind. I will do a historic low video on like the deals under $5 and $10, but wait a minute on that. I figured we should you know, get this video out for the ballers out there, you know, the people that got some money to spend. They need to be served as well. They need the content as well. So I thought I would do this video for them. But seriously, sometimes, you know, if it's a game you really want to play, it's worthwhile to pay a premium for it, because I will say this, it's better that you buy a game that you're gonna play in the near future for $20 than buy 10 games that are $3 a pop for $30 that you're never going to play any one of them. But guess what? You got more games in your Steam library, because that matters. Your digital game library has expanded of games that you're never going to play. And guys, I say all of this with experience. Y'all know how many games I have on Steam, a ridiculous amount. You know how many I haven't, how many of those games I haven't played? An even more ridiculous amount, given, you know, the percentage of games I haven't played in my library is ridiculous. But I digress. Let's get right into it. Granblue Fantasy Relink is 60% off for $24. Man, I feel like this game came out to a lot of fanfare and then it totally died out. And maybe a little bit of that is on Side Games for not updating the game regularly, but I still thought it was a great game that unfortunately a lot of people don't talk about. I thought the art style was great. I thought the combat was great. Soundtrack was awesome. Obviously, from a narrative standpoint, it is a little bit jarring just getting dropped into the Granblue world and not knowing much of anything, but you know, still overall a really enjoyable action RPG that I would recommend, and I think you will get your money's worth at $24, so definitely would recommend that. Next up, Death Stranding Director's Cut, 60% off for $15.99. Obviously, Death Stranding 2 just came out on PlayStation 5. You're gonna have to wait, you know, 9 months to play it on PC, however long you gotta wait, but I know that a lot of people are jumping right into Death Stranding 2, maybe watching that recap video that PlayStation uploaded on their channel, and without a doubt, Death Stranding 2 is the better game over Death Stranding 1. However, I think Death Stranding 1 is an absolutely fantastic game that you should play. Death Stranding 2 improves upon it in a lot of areas, but I still think Death Stranding 1 is a fantastic game that is worth your time and money. Narratively, obviously, there are some pacing issues. It's sometimes very difficult to comprehend. That's why, you know, after you beat the game, maybe watching a breakdown video, not the worst idea in the world. But man, Death Stranding, for my tastes in gaming, is literally what I like. This is totally the game I like. Atmosphere is tremendous. Soundtrack, beautifully woven in with the context of the game and how it's designed with the gameplay in mind. The gameplay, I just thought it was a very relaxing game, and, you know, maybe from a tonality standpoint and a narrative standpoint, it's a more serious game, but from a gameplay standpoint, doing the deliveries and whatnot, I thought it was an incredibly relaxing game and an incredibly engrossing game as well. Death Stranding's not a perfect game, but I can say it's one of my personal favorite games of all time, because for the style of game that it is, it's totally up my alley. You're not gonna get super nuanced, in-depth combat in this game, although the combat is there and it's still decent in Death Stranding 1. Death Stranding 2 develops it quite a bit, but I still think it's an incredible game that's incredibly worthwhile to go through. So $15.99 on that. Tangent over. I would say that's a slam dunk home run of a deal. Next up, Freedom Wars Remastered is 50% off for $19.99. Given that this just came out back in January, this is a sizable discount for a really solid action RPG. This was initially a PlayStation Vita game that was later ported, remastered earlier this year, and it was one of those games that I played on the Vita when it came out, and I loved it back then. Now, being a Vita game, you have to keep your expectations in line, and this is one of those games that, you know, the $19.99 price tag is good, given that this game came out so, you know, not too long ago. To me, that tells me that this game is just going to get cheaper and cheaper and may end up in a humble bundle in the future, maybe $9.99 by the end of this year, somewhere around this range. You know what? I could totally see, like, Freedom Wars Remastered by the winter sale or the spring sale next year being one of those deep discount games that it's like $4.99 or $3.99, and we're all like, oh my god, Freedom Wars is $3.99, you gotta go buy that. But, you know, $19.99 I still think is a pretty good price given how recent it came out. It's janky in a lot of areas, but I still enjoyed it as a action RPG. Thought the combat was enjoyable. The visuals aren't blow away, but good enough, and for 20 bucks, I don't think that's a bad pickup there. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, $15.99 on this. Complete Edition is $19.99. Complete Edition for 20 bucks, I think, is a pretty good deal, given you get the story DLC on this. A really solid Metroidvania, stylish gameplay, decent story, and the puzzles I thought were really well done. I thought the promotion of this game was handled fairly terribly, but that's irrelevant at this point. Yeah, this game bombed from a commercial standpoint, but we're not, that's irrelevant at this point. As far as the game goes and the gameplay, pretty damn good, and for this price point, I think it's quite good. Ubisoft, y'all fumbled hard by not releasing your games on Steam right out the gate. Good thing that came to an end, but something to learn from there. Next up, Persona 3 Reload, 55% off for $31.49. Listen, I like Persona 3. I like Persona in general. Persona 3 is a game that this remake is really well done as far as a remake is concerned. However, there are aspects of Persona 3 that drive me nuts. I think the Tartarus is pretty bad. I think overall, the game is good. The gameplay is solid. The Tartarus I'm not crazy about. Some of the dungeon design, not crazy about it. Well, really, the major dungeon is the Tartarus. There's, outside of that, it's fairly, to me, bare bones. And yes, the interactions between the characters, the story, all of that is really well done, but if you want to get into Persona, I still think Persona 5 is probably the best game to start with. Persona 3 Reload, I would say circle back to that after 5, and you'll definitely have a good time with it. The soundtrack's absolutely awesome. There's a sizable amount of content, and the characters are really, really likable, although I would argue the characters in some of the other Persona games are better. Persona 5 particularly, and Metaphor, if you want to throw it in that category, I think has a stronger cast of characters, but that's my 2 cents. Still think it's an incredible game, a really good game, I should say. Incredible, I think, is a little bit of a stretch, but, you know, definitely worthwhile, and for $31 and change, you're getting a significant amount of content for your dollar, so certainly would recommend that. Next up, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. This is 60% off for $27.99. Now, it needs to be said that Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, from a narrative standpoint, is not as strong as Yakuza Like a Dragon. I absolutely agree with the people that have that take. However, there are still some narrative high points in this game. It is a love letter to those of you that have followed Yakuza for a long time in a lot of the Kiryu games, and even if you only played Yakuza Like a Dragon, I mean, Ichiban's story continues here, and I love Ichiban as a character, as some of you guys might know. I still thought overall the story was good. It's just Yakuza Like a Dragon, I feel like, set the bar so high, and some of the other Yakuza games set the bar high. There's some issues with it being disjointed in Infinite Wealth, but the amount of content in this game is ridiculous. The side content is quite good. They've got like an Animal Crossing style thing, an island management gimmick going on that I didn't even get into, but I know people that have spent a lot of hours into that component of the game. It's a very, very enjoyable game, and for $28, I mean, you're going to get your money's worth, so definitely recommend that, but obviously, if you're going to get into it, you probably want to play a lot of the other games first, and, you know, that's just a reality of getting into the Yakuza franchise. Diablo 4 is 50% off for $24.99, while the expansion bundle is $42. I know the new season is starting for Diablo 4 here this week. I mean, it's Diablo 4. I'm not going to break it down too in-depth. It's not like I've been playing it as each subsequent season has dropped, although I do have buddies that seem to be into it. Even, you know, with all the controversy and whatnot, just don't spend a ton of the money on the microtransactions. Y'all know how it is, but $25 for Diablo 4. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is 60% off for $19.99. I loved Crisis Core, however, it is a port of a PSP game. While they do, you know, have some UI improvements and modernization aspects to the game, they improved the DMW system, which was great, because the DMW was kind of whack. It is a really solid game, but, you know, a PSP game is going to be a bit dated, but the story of Zack is very much essential to the overall story of Final Fantasy VII, so I highly recommend people go through it. And the thing is, this game isn't too lengthy. Like, if you just go through the main story, you can beat it in, like, 15 to 18 hours. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's, like, not that lengthy of a game. It was a PSP game. If you want to do all the optional content, it'll be a little bit lengthy, and I will say this, you know, as a wee lad, I've said it before, Walking Dead Season 1 made your boy shed some tears, and when I was 11 years old playing Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII on the PSP, I did shed some tears. You know, you guys can make fun of me, and, you know, I might be emasculated in the comments section, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, you know, Zack's story made me shed some tears, but, It is what it is. 1999 for Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Go check that out. Next up, One Piece Odyssey, 50% off for 1999. Now, you guys know, if you know me, you know I don't give a damn about One Piece. I don't got time to watch 900 episodes, you guys. I ain't doing that, and I think it's well over 900 episodes at this point in the anime. But I did play One Piece Odyssey, and I had a really enjoyable time with it. It was a mechanically well-made turn-based JRPG. I'm sure if you are a One Piece fan, you're gonna get a much bigger kick out of it, given that the whole gimmick of the game is that you revisit iconic moments within the One Piece storyline. But, you know, from a mechanic standpoint, I thought it was just a well-done game, and for 1999, I would say it's a good shout. Now, obviously, I more so am recommending this for the One Piece fans. There are so many options for great games at this price point that I feel like, you know, unless you're a One Piece fan, you probably won't have an amazing time with it, but I thought it was a worthwhile game as a non-fan as well, so take that for what you will. 1999 for One Piece Odyssey. Tactics Ogre Reborn, 60% off for 1999, a port of Tactics Ogre, which, Tactics Ogre came out on the PS1, then it was ported to the PS Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together, and now we have Tactics Ogre Reborn, which this is a similar formula that a lot of Square Enix games have gone through. Final Fantasy Tactics into Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lines, and now Final Fantasy Tactics is getting remastered. Same thing happened with Star Ocean Second Story, where that got a PSP port and then it got ported as well. But yeah, Tactics Ogre is a solid tactics game. It's just brutally difficult, and I damn near broke a controller, I'm gonna be real, but I enjoyed the game for sure, and if you're into rewarding tactics games, you'll have a good time with it. It's just these Square Enix games hold up in price for eons, so it's nice to see it go down in 1999, but yeah, there you go with that. Outer Worlds Space Your Choice Edition, 75% off for $14.99. You get Outer Worlds and the DLC. I wasn't crazy about Outer Worlds. I thought it was fairly mid, but you know, some people really liked it. Outer Worlds 2 is gonna be $80, so that's a little bit vomit-inducing, but Outer Worlds 1 with the DLC, $15. I think it's a pretty good deal, all things considered. And then finally, I'll reiterate, Cyberpunk 2077 is down at $21 for the base game, $38.62 for the Ultimate Edition, which I would highly recommend you to just pick up the Ultimate Edition. I think the Ultimate Edition is absolutely phenomenal with Phantom Liberty. I think Cyberpunk in general as a game is tremendous. I think, you know, after all of the updates and whatnot, and you could say what you will about the game when it initially came out, but at this stage of the game, Cyberpunk is one of the best games you can pick up. Phantom Liberty is an outstanding piece of content, and it's well worth your time and money. And, you know, the Ultimate Edition is quite pricey at $38.62, but I'll say it is very much worth it. But that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of historic lows. These games are at a little bit hefty of a price point, so keep that in mind, but still very much worthwhile. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.